What's up, people? Oh, my desk so shaky. Damn. What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Bob Marley? Welcome back. Non-fan. Non-fan. Norton. Norfan. Norfon. Non-fron. Gold and coffee. Fucking... does Albania export gold? How many tariff panels have there been this month? Actually, only so far, only 2 that I've been on, I think. I don't know. Apparently, I don't know how much we'll actually discuss tariffs because there's another. All right, everyone on this panel fucking hates me at this point. They don't want to talk to me about tariffs. We're also talking about Mexican drone strikes and whatever dire wolves is. Oh, this shit. Yeah, that's just cool as fuck. Technology could have means an end of developing better genetic engineering, data product and animal experimentation, and there's essentially no legal limit to the type of experiments that animals can be used under the Animal Welfare Act. The federal law that governs animal research. Do you think Trump reversed the tariffs because of bond market pressure, or was it the plan? I don't know. I don't I don't know. I don't. It's like hard to know. I would say like there's a 40% chance it was because of the bond market. Maybe another 10% chance that it was the insider trading, or maybe like he was looking at the bond market and that's when he decided to to reverse the tariffs and just and then he allegedly maybe told people to buy. But not, like he said, he was looking at the bond market when he reversed some of the tariffs. But Trump 4D chess can't stop the Trump. He didn't even like, dude. What's crazy? We still have a 10% tariff on everyone except Canada and Mexico. That is like before Liberation Day. I would have told you that's one of the worst case scenarios. I would have been like, before Trump was elected, I would have been like, I don't know for sure if he'll do blanket tariffs and everything, but I think it's maybe 30% likely that he'll end up doing a 10% tariff on everything. And it's like, we still have a 10% tariff on everything except for USMCA compliant goods from Canada and Mexico, which, to be fair, is a fair amount of goods, but plus an extra 20% on steel and aluminum. Have we gone down the whole Mar-a-Lago Accords rabbit hole a little bit? Because I've seen Krugman talk about it, and I've seen there was someone else who mentioned it. I think it might have been, I don't know, just Matt Iglesias or someone. One of the other econ bloggers, I feel like, mentioned it. Oh, it's probably No Opinion. Who, by the way, fucking called it. But like, I don't know, like, it just like Trump is actively threatening like every country that moves away from the dollar with tariffs. So it's like, how are we gonna? What's up? Okay, damn. Speaking, I can't hear you. I think I skimmed through this, but I don't know. Like, I just didn't really. I don't watch it. Neoliberal World Order. I love the Neoliberal World Order. The Triffin dilemma. The Triffin. I don't know. I've seen Krugman talk about this. It doesn't seem like.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about?
Griffin Dilemma, World Order. What are you talking about?
I'm skipping. I was just skimming through the Money and Macro video where he talks about it. I don't know. Like, I read.
Does he talk about the Griffin Dilemma in the video?
Yeah, there's a chapter.
By name?
Dilemma. Yeah, that's the name of the chapter.
Oh, I don't recall that in the video. Oh, interesting.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Like,
did you read the Selden thing?
I don't think so.
I sent you George Selden. He had a thread in our DMs. You should check it out. On the Triffin Dilemma, just responding to it. Also sending some other stuff. Yeah, you should read this. I doubt anyone in the debate will bring it up. But, yeah. I mean, fuck Money and Macro. I mean, I love the guy, but that video was not good.
It's 40 chess. 40 chess, man.
No, it's not even. It was like, there was always at least a 40% chance that he would, like, walk back the tariffs. So already you should not be like, oh, Trump has a plan and it's coherent, bro. And then also, don't assume the tariffs will do their desired policy goal. They never do.
Yeah.
I didn't like that in the video. But yeah. So you're gonna debate the Gibbs panel and whatnot?
Yeah, I think. It's okay. The tariffs will be back on tomorrow. Probably, dude. We'll see. I mean, 90-day pause, so we'll see what happens in 90 days. I'm curious if he ever will get back to tariffing Mexico and Canada on the USMCA compliant goods. So.
Okay.
Dude, I didn't realize.
What, does Gibbs defend the tariffs or what?
Well, Gibbs is just moderating the panel, but Gibbs does defend the tariffs. Please tell me Pentuple is going to be on this panel. Of course he's going to be, unless he like literally refuses to join because I'm there, that he refuses to talk about tariffs with me. He'll be there.
Yeah, so what you should do
don't
is,
expect any fuck him up. I can't fuck Pentuple up because he refuses to engage me at all. Like, his camera is disabled. Like, my camera's disabled. Again, he has me muted half the time. Like, he is not going to engage with me at all on anything.
Well, then tell Gibbs. Tell Gibbs, right? If he's on the same panel, tell Gibbs like, hey, this guy literally muted me, and we're on the
Well,
same
yeah.
panel. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
okay. You can stand for yourself. I think uh, um I don't know if the thing is you should your position is 100% right, but it requires a lot of jargon, right? But
Yeah.
what I mean a lot of jargon is that the average viewer, when you say like capital flows to productive sectors, like they already lost you, right? Like you say a simple sentence like that, they lost you. So I feel like the optimal strategy would just be like asking the other people on the panel, like, hey, um, economists are. It's not the first time they ever heard of tariffs. We agree? Yeah. Okay. And right, they've studied this before, right? Presumably, they thought about like the effects of it in theory and in practice. And so, what if we had like a really big study that goes over like more than like 50 years of data in 151 countries? And we could just like test a lot of this stuff so we can see like oh, people think like tariffs are going to be good for the poor. Well, maybe tariffs will actually increase inequality, or maybe like tariffs will promote employment and growth. Oh, but maybe it's possible that tariffs actually reduce productivity and growth and employment. So I don't know, maybe we should study that stuff. Do you guys agree that if we had a big study like that, that would be cool? And
Yeah. Yeah.
and when you see that they're like weaseling and like having an unfalsifiable position, call that out and then just repeat the study ad infinitum, because I think like legitimately they're incapable of understanding theory. I mean, we saw that with the Tyler low IQ dumb fuck. He confused the absolute and comparative advantage.
Yeah,
He
that
didn't
was
know what
so.
fuck
Oh
he was
my
talking
god.
about. He doesn't know what GDP is. Um, he thinks tariffs reduce inequality. He thinks like calling your position trickle down proves you wrong. To the extent it's trickle down, it's right. I don't care how you characterize the
Like, I
position.
know. Yeah.
I love that you own the neoliberal tag. It's like, look, I only claim to be a neoliberal, so to whatever extent you think I'm not in line with like left wing values, that's not an internal critique, buddy. I don't care. We do not care. We do not care. Yeah, but yeah. Um, Also, I would highlight the MAGA NPC aspect of this. So be like, tomorrow, and then also like, to make it clear, if tomorrow Trump announces that he re-invokes the tariffs or whatever, they'll defend it. If he says I'm removing all tariffs, they'll defend it. They'll defend it no matter what. They're
Yep.
cultists. I think that's important. But yeah, I don't know. Fuck that. The other guy. What's the name of the other guy who was like, "Oh, your study. That's a tired talking point." Who the fuck was that?
Tiberius D. Oh my god. I understand I'm like the
Yeah, he
3% of
screwed the fuck out of me.
scientists on climate change against the 97% of scientists who believe in climate change. It's
Yeah,
like,
and
dog, like,
you
what do
should
you.
ask people like that. You should ask people like that. Okay, so I understand you're taking the minority position. Can you name me then like a single study that you read that disagrees with you? Oh, you didn't read anything about this. You just take the unpopular position. Why again? Oh, because you're in a fucking cult and you're retarded. Oh, I got it. Like that, you should just call that out, right? Like you
Yeah.
can take the unpopular position. I mean, most healthcare economists like single payer. I like multi-payer. Oh my God, shocker! I'm in the minority, but I have reasons. I can name stuff that I like supports my position. Right? You should
No,
not
but
be just like
they have Peter
I'm in the
Navarro,
minority.
bro. Peter Navarro. By the way, Pentuple's response to
And
that.
Ron Vera. And Ron
And
Vera.
yeah. No, they have what's the Orin Cass guy? They have him, bro. They have
Oh boy. Oh boy.
but
Yeah.
Pentuple will
Did
do.
you
I know
watch?
Pentuple's response
You should.
already.
Another thing. Another thing. Um, Phil Magnus.
Um oh yeah, yep.
He debated a month ago. Actually, he debated Ian Fletcher and his co-author. I only watched that like 2 days ago at the gym. That was a really good debate. He kind of crushed them. They were not be able to defend any of their points. He brought up stuff that I didn't know. So like, did you know that China is only like the 10th steel trader with the United States?
No, but
Yeah, so that's like it totally shocked me. I was like, what? So the steel tariffs just hurt our allies and don't even like really impact China? What? It's a really good debate. If you want, I can link it and you can watch it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's really good. And I like his opening statement. I think that's really good. He points out something. I think he takes too much time on that, but be like, because I would say it like this. He took like 4 minutes to make this point. I would like make it in 1 minute. I would say something like this. Now, keep in mind, MAGA lives in contradiction. They don't care about the outcome. They have no goal. They just want to suck up to Trump. So think about it coherently and rationally. There are three goals broadly that you can have for tariffs. It could be to reboost manufacturing, it could be to raise revenue, and it could be to negotiate. All three of
Yep.
these goals are contradictory.
Yep.
If
Yep.
you
I've
increase
brought
the
up this before.
manufacturing,
Yeah.
that means that you protect imports, and so people don't import, and so your revenue goes down, and you don't negotiate. So if you focus on manufacturing, then the other two goals, revenue and negotiations, go down. If you focus on revenue, then that means you don't protect the industry and people still import. And so therefore you don't get manufacturing and you don't get negotiation. And if you focus on negotiation, that means you don't implement the tariffs, so you don't get your supposed protectionism and you don't get the revenue. So all of these goals are mutually exclusive. MAGA does not care. They live in contradiction. They love contradictions because that's where they're safest. That's what I
Yep.
would say. He took like 4 minutes to make a similar point, and he was less aggressive,
But
which is weird
I've
because
literally
that
brought
guy's
this up
hella
before.
aggressive.
I remember Pentuple's response. Well, number one, Pentuple's response on the on the economist thing. By the way, will just be like, well, if economists knew everything, then things wouldn't have been so bad the last 4 years. These are the same economists who caused the Biden
Whoa,
inflation, and it's like so true, buddy. Um,
that's true.
but like even it's so funny because even like all the economists who hated the Biden inflation the most, they also hate tariffs the most. Like, what are you talking? But regardless, it's like um
Yeah,
Pentuple's response and the
they
other
don't.
thing would just be like, well, different tariffs have different goals. Trump is going to have people, executing these tariffs carefully, because he's told that to me before, but it's obviously wrong. I like the dude. I don't. No one should trust. Well, no one should have trusted him even before the formula thing, but after the formula thing, no one. Why on earth would you ever trust him to do anything competently
Oh
ever?
yeah, get that as a concession. You need to get that as a concession. You did
Yeah.
last time. I thought it was good.
2008 economics is proving free trade is a negative externality of lower Democratic vote shares. They're true. That is true. Therefore, we must tax imports.
That is true. That is true. Who typed
This
that?
is the Bob Marley.
Who?
Bob Marley, the guy you DM'd a year ago about
Bob
Austrian
Marley.
business
Yeah,
cycle
Bob Marley.
theory.
Look, I mean,
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. Free trade does lead to more Republicans. Yeah. That's the
Dude, did you
price I'm willing
see
to pay.
Gretchen Whitmer was like defending the Trump tariffs? Oh my God.
Who?
Gretchen Whitmer, she's like the governor of Michigan, I think.
Oh
Or
boy. Oh
governor,
boy.
yeah, governor of Michigan. People were talking about her for 2028, but now I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if people are gonna support
Thank
that
God.
anymore. Jesus. But did you see? By the way, Trump dropped some of the export controls on Nvidia exporting to China.
That's good.
I think it's bad
Why?
because these are like advanced AI chips that are probably important for national security. It's like a national security thing. No
I don't
opinion.
know. I'm very skeptical.
Wow. No Opinion has an article about it, although No Opinion says national security for a lot of things. Um,
Yeah, I think when people say national
but
security, they overextend. I think because that's the only thing where like pro free trade people will say like, yeah, that's an actual reason for tariffs. I think you give protectionists a finger, they take the entire hand.
right,
So they
right.
just say national security about everything. So I just genuinely am like uncertain about everything being national security.
It's just funny in this article. He's like, there's this was written in December before Trump was in office. He was like, Trump might use tariffs to like look tough on China, but then just get rid of the export controls on China, which actually really helps them because it lets them develop AI. And it's just funny because that is exactly what has happened. It's like,
Yeah. Here, you should watch this debate. It's like an hour long. You
are
should watch it.
tariffs a tax on the consumer? How do they really dispute that? Jesus.
No, that's not the main topic of the debate. It's mostly just tariffs pro and like again.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the Better World.
Fuck Fletcher, that guy, snake, owned by a big protectionist. Um, but yeah, um, yeah. I thought Magnus did a good job. I would be more aggressive, but I don't know. He's really aggressive on Twitter, that guy. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
He
Either
is
way,
funny
I'm
on Twitter.
dying over here. I'm allergic to my cat, and I didn't see her in like 2 weeks, so I'm just sneezing all over the place.
Damn.
Are you up to date with the Italian brain rot?
I saw videos of people aggressively petting cats. I still don't know this Italian brain rot thing. I only saw a little bit
Oh,
on like YouTube. Like when I looked it up, I haven't. I don't.
okay. You're behind. Okay.
I'm still behind on the Italian brain rot. I guess I don't know what this
When's the debate?
in 20 minutes.
Panzini, banani,
20 minutes. Oh, you won't have
wah,
time to watch
wah,
the debate
wah.
then.
Bananucci, monkey, tung, 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 tung,
But
tung,
yeah.
No,
tung, tung,
but
tung,
Uh,
sahur. Anomali
yeah, so
Americani,
I would
American.
just look, you gotta not let people interrupt you. Please, not fun. Please don't let people interrupt you. Or at least very little.
right.
Please. And you know, hammer your points. Like make it so no one in the audience doesn't know that there are at least like 50 studies supporting your position and they cited nothing. Um,
Yeah. What's the? By the
oh boy,
way, for
my
whatever
biggest
reason,
fan,
people
JC.
really keep.
I'm just here to.
Oh, sure. But real quick, people keep making this point, and I don't know. There's got to be maybe like a less autistic way to say this or something, where they're like, you think tariffs are bad because economic distortion, but you support minimum wage, and I'm just I'm like, well, one has good outcomes, one has bad outcomes. Like, I don't know, like what you like. The demand for labor tends to be inelastic. Like
Yeah, so
sometimes
I
there's
would just be like,
monopsony. Like,
one, that's a total pivot. We can debate that specific topic if you want. Two, you need to just. I agree there is a burden of proof for minimum wages. So if I was just supporting minimum wages without any studies, without any arguments like you,
that's true.
then I would be a hypocrite. The difference is that I do have the arguments. Right. That's another thing I would point. Two and three, I would say I'm not like the biggest fan even of minimum wages. I think they kind of are lame. Like to the extent they're good, they're not like awesome, amazing, poverty
Yeah, yeah.
reducing thing. Yeah.
I'm just here to reinforce the. You need to make sure that questions that you ask that are like 10 poles to your argument get answered. And if they don't get answered, literally be obnoxious and sit there on the question and make the person answer. Like for every argument, there's like the 2 or 3 like foundational like concrete blocks that you're staking the tent down with. And if you don't do that, the tent's gonna blow away even with like the slightest gust. So you got to figure out like what are the 2 to 3 things you got to hold them to, and because conservatives are slippery assholes, you have to hold them to those and make them answer at least those questions.
Also, I might
Be
if I
very
was a
aggressive.
troll. I agree with that. But if I was a troll, I might even ask them like, do we at least agree that it would be bad for Trump to like so right now the United States has a good thing going on. It has a financial account surplus with a lot of countries. We would agree that if Trump
Yeah.
happens to close that financial account surplus, that would be very bad, right? So if they say yes to that, that's a troll argument.
That's
but
yeah, the troll argument. I don't know if I've ever done this before, but I want to be like, if someone brings up a trade deficit, I'm just like, we also have a financial account deficit. Do you want to fix that too? And then they'll
financial account
And then
surplus,
they're gonna
right?
say, yes,
Financial account
they're gonna
that's
be like,
what
yes,
Trump's
I need,
next.
I want to fix every deficit, and it's like, okay, so let me
Every
tell you
deficit.
about.
Yeah, ask them. Yeah, ask them like, oh no, I'm in favor of like literally, and like if you ask them, if you tell them we have a financial account deficit, I think that's like, well, you're saying the opposite. I would just tell them like, look,
Well, no, I know
let's
that's
see
not
if
true,
Trump can
but
do bad things,
oh, sure.
right? Because then if they say no, um, then I don't know. Maybe that would be better because if you tell them like Trump should also do this, they would say like yes. Because if you ask them if Trump does this, will it be bad? They're cold. They can never say Trump can do bad things.
I agree with what Testy said in the chat too. Make Gibbs like force an answer and like say like I need Gibbs. I need them to answer this question. If it's like one of the like cement blocks, like I need them to
Yeah.
answer this question before we move on, or nothing works. Nothing makes sense. So just be mean. Be mean.
Yeah, and also
Call them silly
again.
billies.
Remember, the IMF study is ironclad. They have nothing, and this is like a tank. I would just at least if I'm debating someone for more than an hour, I'm mentioning it at least 3 times, minimum.
Yeah.
I'd be like, again, it is very high quality. They break down the aggregate data to industry level, like analysis. They like control for endogeneity. They do their best. They look at 150 countries, more than 150 countries, more than 50 years of data, and they look at a lot of variables. What do we find? And then tack, 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 tack. It's just one after one, and it's obvious. It's obvious if you know anything.
Wait, is the panel even happening?
I think so. I don't know.
In his Discord, he says
Uh,
no stream tonight.
Oh, maybe
Wait,
it's
did
not
Wick
then.
debate? Did Wick debate? Fuck, what's
That's
his name?
tomorrow. Tim Pool, Lactoid
Oh.
and Tim Pool. That's tomorrow.
Lactoid. That's right. Yeah.
Nope, that's tomorrow, and I hope he brought his A game because Lactoid is a very good conservative debater. Sorry, libertarian. All the same to me. All
Yeah,
right,
I was
buddy.
talking to
Well,
rated-
Lactoid like a few days ago. I was talking to Lactoid and I was like, I think you were there, man. Right? I was
Yeah,
like,
for a little bit.
you
Yeah.
mistreated my boy Don Fawn. He should have won against Scott. Okay, that's perfect.
that, everybody when
But
when you
he did
engage in
raise a
that
good point.
conversation with
You did not like utilize the fact that he described in detail how he would rape you. I thought
when you
could have lost
engage with
points for
Fabian
that.
Liberty Scott in a conversation, when anyone does, everyone loses.
That's right.
So actually, not
It's like
fun.
it debunks free trade. But yeah.
Have you
but
considered that like it's all arbitrary non-fond? That your economics that you're imposing, your market injunction, they're all arbitrary, and under a perfect
true.
anarcho-capitalist system, it wouldn't even apply.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, I would also highlight the fact that like the people you're debating are illiterate. They could not define the basic terms of the conversation. They could not draw you a basic like they don't even know the arguments against
They
their
can't
position.
draw. Pentuple cannot
they-
draw.
No. But
Ask him to draw a
actually
stick
though,
figure.
but actually, like, be like. Also, I just want to highlight the people I'm debating don't know what they're talking about. They could not define comparative advantage. They could not. They don't even know the basic arguments against them, let alone if they're right or wrong. They don't even know them. Right? Pentuple could not draw you like a supply demand, a supply demand curve for graph for tariffs, right? Like something like that, because it highlights that it's a tumbling idiot that you're talking
All
to.
right. My McDonald's Minecraft meal is on my porch, so non-fon
Well,
sample text. It's been lovely, gents. Have a wonderful night.
Flint and steel. Chicken jock.
Have you seen the Minecraft movie?
Yeah, that's right. I have not seen it, but I've seen people see it.
Damn. It's absolute peak. Absolute peak.
You know what? And also, get ready for like absolute brain rot when like Pentuple or someone says, "Oh, I thought Democrats lost their mind when the stock market was crashing, but now it's soaring and they're silent." Be ready for something like that.
Well, I don't think Gibbs is too hungover or something. So.
No, I think someone will say something like that.
Well, I'm saying.
Like, oh, Democrats.
I don't
it
think
was the end of the
he said
world,
he
the
said
hamburger
no
was
stream
going down,
tonight,
but
like
those who are golfing, they
JC
don't care.
mentioned. So we're.
Maybe.
Yo ho!
Whoa,
Yeah.
Isaac.
Bro,
Are you a protectard?
You know
No.
it's me and Non-Fon's 1-year anniversary.
You're very quiet.
Whoa.
Should I Gibbs abandon you? Should I? No, don't DM Gibbs. I already know. Gibbs said in the group
Yeah,
chat
I was
no
like,
stream
do I
tonight.
have him? Do I have him lowered? But no, I don't.
No,
So
no, you're good, you're good. Apparently my mic was on 50 for some reason. I was saying, do you know it's me and Non-Fon's 1-year anniversary?
whoa.
Oh God, we basically got to get married. No, I got my Snapchat memory today, and it was of me and his first Twitch stream together. I only know Non-Fon because of Manar.
That's right.
truly a creator. Manar is truly the Lord. Yeah, no, I don't know if
No, you
what a
don't-
protection chart is. I'm assuming that's
don't
a
have
person who
to-
is heavy in like self-isolation and protectionism for the economy.
You don't have to
Yeah.
DM Gibbs.
I'm-
There's no
I
reason
don't
to
take
be.
opinion. I don't take like stakes on the economy just because I know I'm not educated on it. So I don't really. I just ask non-fun like
Okay.
level 1 econ questions like once a week, and then he doesn't answer them, and then I get upset. I think the last one he still
Okay.
never answered the last one I asked him. Okay, I asked him. Okay, I was like,
Which is-
I was like, can we just artificially just keep creating jobs? And I was like, what would that lead to? And I never got a good
Oh.
answer.
I mean, it's just I mean, in theory, I mean, you kind of can't do it, but it's just going to be the opportunity cost of we otherwise would have been able to. I mean, say if we're automating jobs, we otherwise would have been able to more efficiently produce things with less resources. So like, there's always an opportunity cost. So I don't know what you want me to debunk here, Inverter Mystic. 25% tariff imposed by State Council Tariffs Commission's announcement on additional 50 billion of imports. Like, what do you mean? I don't know what you mean debunk.
Also, I've been out of the Twitch sphere a little bit. So tell me if people are talking about this and tell me if they're not. Because I haven't heard anything. It drives me insane. Why are people not talking about the fact that Trump is like sanctioning these like law firms that are going against him? And they're like,
I know.
and they're like saying, and they're like, no one in the federal government can, or no one that deals with the federal government can work within these law firms. But like every major like top 500 company has some interaction with the federal government, right? So it's like it's literally like he's killing these like law firms, and no one is talking about it. And it's like the most recent one that happened, I think either today or yesterday, was the
Fox News one.
the one who
people went
defended
after-
the one who defended Dominion during Fox News. This is crazy. I'm sorry. I
Did
just
you
don't
see,
even
by
wanna
the
talk about
way,
this
the
one.
Supreme Court said that Trump had to like facilitate the return of the guy mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
Let's go. I'm glad to see you. They at least did that.
Oh, I heard about that. I didn't look into it.
I haven't read a ton about it yet, but
Are they ignoring it, or are they actually going to bring him back?
well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because previously their argument was basically we don't have a mechanism for bringing him back. So you know, who knows? Maybe this guy is just totally fucked. But
Also, I was listening to a stream at work. I was literally just have a headphone in at work, and it was just non-fun. But I feel like you take so much. What's the word I'm looking for? You give your opponent so much credence, and you'll be like, I prepared for this argument. I prepared for this argument. You're just gonna go in there, and you're just gonna hear like the same 20 arguments. It's nothing new.
Yeah,
I feel like you do
I
so
know.
much.
Yeah.
You're like-
the manufacturing, the jobs back with Trump is
Yeah.
awesome.
Like, you're not gonna get anything new here. There's not gonna be any like profound fucking nothing
not
profound has
gonna
ever come
build
out of
up the
Pentumble's
case.
mouth. I'll just say it, okay?
They're-
Nothing.
They're not bringing up the Triffin dilemma. They're not doing it.
But you don't understand, bro. I need to prepare. I need the knowledge.
But what if
I
the
need
president
knowledge.
like nuked Chicago? I still see
True,
Right.
true.
I
He
mean-
still is obsessed with that for some reason. I don't
I
know
don't
why,
understand.
but-
Like, it's low-key getting weird. Like, I'm just like, bro, I'm just trying to. To be fair though, I got followed by him and I think his girlfriend. I think. Right?
Girlfriend,
Ooh,
sister. My
Okay.
working,
Okay. All right. The president nuked Chicago. He never fucking answered. The point of the hypothetical was to say, what if the president did
I
an
understand. No,
insanely
wait.
obviously criminal act,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
little bitch coward
Yeah,
couldn't
I
even
know.
address
I
it?
completely. Let me explain. I completely agree with you. It's just weird how much he's like. You understand?
He
Like,
is
it's a completely valid question
obsessed
too. It's
with
like,
me.
what if we? Yeah, it's like, what if he did something that is blatantly illegal? Do we agree that that is illegal, even if it's under the like guise of being the president? It's a completely
And in hindsight,
legitimate question.
in hindsight, I could have literally used the Fifth Avenue example. Like, what if Donald Trump shot somebody on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight? Should he be like criminally prosecuted for that if he could somehow finagle it into an official act?
If you did that, you save yourself so much heartache.
Are you also eating McDonald's?
I'm eating spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh. The Nether Flame
Did you get the
sauce is
Minecraft?
gross.
Yo,
I sure
I was about to
fucking
ask.
did. I sure did. I got a Big Mac toy.
I went to bro. I gotta go, and I'm gonna slide the worker at 20 and say, give me all of the toys.
Bro, true. All
You
right.
can't- you can buy the
I literally
adult
like
ones.
I literally tabbed back into fucking non-fun stream. Like I unmuted it. And I was listening. I was gonna listen
All
to
you
it
heard
while I
was,
painted
"What if the
minis.
president-"
And all of a sudden I hear the fucking like bane of my existence line. No. Hey, He doesn't do rematches, but he's welcome to answer the question anytime he can stop being a coward. So, all right, love you, bye.
Okay, stay safe. But yeah, they just followed me non-fun. I'm thinking I'm gonna switch teams. You know what I mean? Like if these pairs go well and like the economy goes up, I was like, bruh, me and Pentuple are gonna start we're gonna start a podcast and we're gonna go to TwitchCon together and then we're gonna both I can't continue this bit without killing myself. In Minecraft. But yeah, I feel like you also please, okay? I hate that this is one thing that actually was like not rage baiting me, but it was like I noticed this a lot. You have a lot of people who come in here and it's the same like point that I hit earlier where it's like they give you so much advice on these like academic points like this study, you should be referencing this study 3 times, right? It's not gonna matter. Like they're not gonna acknowledge the study.
I don't know. The IMF study I think is good to cite. Like that's relatively easy to understand and stuff, but like it's just like a total like this is looking at tariffs
I'm going to make a commitment right now
over 50 years. Like
I am just so confident. Okay, how many conservatives are on that panel?
Well, to be clear, the panel is not. Gibbs is hungover. He said no stream. Like,
oh, it's over. Okay, damn. I was gonna bet $5 that if you referenced that, it was just raps. Damn, that's crazy.
I mean, I've cited it before.
Still do the panel.
Don't. True.
Fuck Gibbs. Just do the panel. Am I crazy? Not like no offense. Like love Gibbs. Okay. Retard on Twitter, but love him. Like you could just do the panel. No, that would be actually kind of never mind. That'd be kind of scummy because like he did probably put the work in to network it.
Listen, if people know they're invited, I invited Tyler on my stream. I said he can come on whenever to talk about this shit again because apparently he doesn't think I addressed some of his points or whatever. Pentuple is always invited. All these people are completely free to
Pentuple's
come on my stream whenever. Like all these people are just not going to do it because, wow, they're insane.
Damn,
I confirmed for TwitchCon non-fawn. No, I'm not at all.
Can you get him to? He needs to go, bro. If he doesn't go, it's just gonna be like me and Pentuple are gonna do a 3-hour like hating non-fawn section. That we're gonna have that like AI song he made about what if the president knew Chicago playing, and it's literally just gonna be me and him just like saying our least favorite things about non-fawn.
Damn, bro, you would not. There's no way. You can bang some hot econ chicks. First of all,
those don't exist.
First of all, there's one that exists, and her name is Kyla. Kyla Scan.
Oh, is it that girl that I see you comment under that senator?
No, that's a
different fine woman. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's just a hot bitch running for Congress.
Okay. That's a banger lawn like sign. Hot bitch running from Congress.
Her name is like Kyla Scan on or something. It's like Scan Lawn or something. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Yeah, Scanlon, and she's a econ girl, and she's hot. That's a bit humana. But that's it. She's the only one.
I'm gonna do this tomorrow, but if you want to, actually, never mind. I'm not giving you any content.
Damn.
I was gonna say since your panel's over, we could react to our first conversation, and I was like, but that was my plan for stream tomorrow. I'm gonna go back and see how, and I'm gonna see us circle jerking about Kamala winning, and then I'm gonna be like, guys, we can just skip this section.
Do we make predictions about Kamala winning? Oh no.
I mean, there's no way we didn't, right? Like, I don't know if we did, but I don't know if there's a world in which we didn't talk about how we both think Kamala's gonna win.
Oh no.
To be fair, I think I did always say I think you were the same. I don't think we were ever like confident. Okay, I don't think we were ever like I believe they were going to win, but I don't think we were ever like I know they're going to win. I don't know. If I go back and watch that though, I feel like I'm just gonna see a different version of me.
Dude, yeah, I clicked through some of it, not that long ago. And it's weird. It's weird.
You have to remember, I think this is also
my old microphone.
This is literally just This is literally just our first conversation too, which makes it even it was probably pretty awkward, I imagine. I do also wait, and this was us realizing. I still love the bit of me realizing we live in the same state. That was pretty funny. I don't know though. Our best bit of all time though has to be the generational clip of me talking shit about you and you open up stream. That was actually Looney Tune ass timing. That was crazy.
Where is that clip? I need that.
It's in my Discord, and my Discord is dead, so it's probably like the second or first message if you open it. Don't worry, it will come back, okay? Whenever I don't work 40 hours a week. God forbid a man be lazy under Gibbs terminology, okay? Wait, no, I would be lazy under Gibbs term. Fuck. Earlier, you went on a. I need to work 41, okay?
Dude, it's literally the last message in this, in general.
Hey,
all right, it just downloads.
We're not known for being active.
The fuck can't I?
Bro, in my defense, I literally just wanted to talk about the Riz panel. I was like, one of my friends was on this really funny panel, and he got eliminated. Because didn't you get eliminated first or second round on that one?
Yeah.
You did too, didn't you?
Yeah. The second one I got pretty far in.
You did. You were locked in on that second one.
Yeah.
No Minecraft date got locked in though, or no. Oh, I forgot.
I never.
You never forged electoral ballots with that woman, did you? That was, by the way, crazy.
That was awesome. That was goated.
Yeah, is that something? That's gotta be. Listen, when you make a dating app, profile, that's gotta be in it. Okay, what is? Because there's gotta be a what should our first date be prompt, and you just gotta put
fake electors. That's the strat, bro. That's the strat, bro. That's the strat. I'm telling you, that's the strat.
Alright, I'm gonna head out now. I'm gonna eat my pound of spaghetti on my plate.
All right.
What's your plan now that you just got completely derailed?
React to some videos and maybe read some things. We'll see. Okay, damn. Didn't even say bye. Did not even get to say talk to us. Okay.
Lose.
Okay. We have these are 3 trade related things.
Love you. Stay safe.
Okay, damn. I don't know. Jubilee might get mad at me for watching this, so I don't want to watch all of it. I skimmed through just to see this one guy's defense of tariffs, and it was kind of wild. Have you watched the Summers debate? Nope. I have that saved here. You might have seen it. It's one of these. I think it's this one. Yeah. Eventually we'll get to it. Eventually, it's just 500 other fucking things that I want to read. Oh, and we have to. It's never gonna be relevant. It's never gonna be relevant. Never gonna be relevant. But I need to read. I need to read the central banking shit. Maybe we'll read just a little bit of that today. Maybe. Window capture. Boom. All right. Julie better not get mad at me. Well, I'm going to watch 10 minutes of this or something. Maybe more if it gets interesting, but I need better econ euphemisms. What central banking shit? A bunch of Charles Goodhart, a bunch of defending central banks, so that when Trump fires Jerome Powell, I can defend. Dude, if I'm actually gonna lose my mind if that happens. By the way, there was a thing that came out. Soy Pill told me about it. I think he's basically testing, or he's bringing a case that I think could test invincibility. President Trump asked the Supreme Court to let him fire top officials at 2 independent agencies, filing an emergency request that could bolster White House control over federal regulators. The filing comes after Federal Appeals Court on Monday said the National Labor Relations Board member I don't know how to pronounce these people, can stay in their jobs while a legal fight plays out. The case is testing a 1935 Supreme Court ruling that let Congress shield high-ranking officials from being fired, paving the way for independent entities that now proliferate across the U.S. government. The legal wrangling could ultimately test whether Trump has the power to fire the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Which, who knows if he'll actually, even if he gets the power to do it, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't want to mess with the Fed. Maybe, but we'll see.
As recession fears and Elon Musk batter Trump's approval rating. Is Trump causing a recession? 3, 2, 1. I'll jump in. I don't think that we're in a recession, but I think Trump's erratic and unpredictable economic behavior is damaging the economy. You can see it in multiple indicators. The S&P 500 was down 10% this week. The Atlanta Federal Reserve said the GDP is going to contract in Q1, and you can draw a direct line between Trump's
Tyler Davidson for the
flopping on tariffs and the stock market crashing, because we can all agree businesses thrive in a predictable environment. You need to know how many resources to allocate where, at what time, and when Trump is creating such an unpredictable economic environment, yeah, it's going to hurt the stock market. Yeah, CEOs are going to come out.
We have a ton of empirical evidence that uncertainty. I mean, first of all, like, just logically, obviously, businesses might be hesitant to invest if they're uncertain about what tariffs will actually go into place, because they don't know where they should be investing, right? If I'm building a plant, I don't know if I should be building my plant in Mexico or in the U.S. if I don't know what tariffs are going to be in effect. But yeah, empirical evidence seems to suggest, too, that uncertainty is just pretty bad, generally speaking.
Hey, this is not good.
One thing about the stock market is a gauge at what we call micro horizon of where the economy is going to be in a short-term gain. Trump's approach to the economy is, instead of using the word recession, I use the word detox. He's trying to reset.
Detox for what? Oh, it's so infuriating. Like, what? I am so confused. Like, what? First of all, the stock market is like, I don't know if it's true. The stock market is only focused on like short-term things. Like, if people actually expected, like the other guy on the panel yesterday, told me that real wage growth was going to get to 6% within 5 years, at least. Or he said, to be fair, if tariffs work, what we'll see is 6% wage growth. 5 years from now, wages are going to start growing at 6% instead of like 4%, what they're at right now. That's insane. Like, if that is true, you would expect the stock market to not have such an unbelievably negative reaction, at least. But I don't know, just what. Literally what long-term gain? Literally what long-term gain, dog? There's a so it's a little nausea from the chemotherapy. Yeah, like literally, I don't even know what to say. And there's also what was it? It's I think in the Return to Depression Economics. There's this quote. No modern Treasury Secretary would echo Andrew Mellon's famous advice to liquidate labor, liquidate stocks, liquidate the farmers, liquidate real estate, purge the rottenness out of the system. Nothing like the Great Depression could ever happen again. Like, it's so funny that our Treasury Secretary is basically saying this exact fucking same thing. And Krugman's point was that in 2008, people were basically saying this thing as well, because the book was written during like the financial crisis in 2008. But Jesus.
This economy of terrible 4 years that we've gone through, and his stance on tariffs.
Oh, the terrible 4 years that we went through. Yep, true. Like, highest fucking growth in the G7. Our inflation was not meaningfully higher than the G7, and it came down faster than a lot of the other G7 and G20 countries. Unemployment was at historic lows, like literally 50-year lows. Like, tariffs great, hard times great, strong men, strong make great, good times. True, this is Trump's strategy. We need to make the men more manly so they create good times, okay? That's what we...
Tariffs goes back to that long-term...
Thanks, Renow, for the follow. Appreciate it.
And he wants to have a medium to long-term gain for the average American. He's not focused on making our next two...
What? Like what? Like what? What does that look like? Explain, elaborate, tell me. What is the long-term gain here?
6 months, great. He wants the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years to be great. And I think setting up tariffs like that, it is going to be a situation where it is a detox. It's probably going to get a little worse before it gets better, because he has a lot that he has to reset.
When Trump announced his tariffs, the auto industry, the big three in the auto industry had been very much against Trump's tariffs, just because a lot of the suppliers of the materials that are used in the auto industry and in American manufacturing are sourced from Mexico.
Truth.
And they're...
Yep. I think that this was filmed a while ago, so I think the tariffs in Canada and Mexico were the thing that was relevant then. But like literally half the imports that we get from Canada and Mexico are intermediate goods. Like that's and tariffing intermediate goods is the same as just taxing businesses. You don't even help producers like you usually do with tariffs when you tariff intermediate goods, because you raise the cost of producing things. You raise the cost for businesses. You raise the cost for American manufacturers. Yeah, I finally bought No Opinion Substack so I can read this now that I can get past the paywall. Even though I don't know what's gonna be in this that I don't know by now, but I think this probably has a long-term gain thing in it somewhere. But yeah, I didn't mention, but I appreciate you posting that all that stuff in Discord. Yeah, it was. I don't even think it's paywalled anymore, but it was paywalled. So yeah. But Jesus, okay. But she's right. You hurt U.S. producers when you tariff intermediate goods. That's why auto producers who rely on, parts made in Mexico and Canada aren't actually benefiting from the tariffs, because it raised the cost of producing cars in the U.S. That's why some plants have already announced layoffs. Like
American suppliers of those things. So when Trump first announced his tariffs on Mexico, the Dow dropped by.
Wait, what did No Opinion say dumb about healthcare? I mean, I don't agree with him on everything, but
1,300 points. So how do you reconcile that as not being the direct cause of what could potentially become a financial recession?
Well, I think the reason that we see this is that for decades now, we've been exporting manufacturing, exporting these various goods to other.
True. I'm going to repeat the same script to you guys. Number one, not convinced trade actually is the reason for the decline in the manufacturing share of employment. It seems like every advanced economy has followed the same path, where manufacturing employment manufacturing share of employment follows a inverted U-shaped path. So it starts out low, and then it climbs for a while, and then it peaks, and then it falls. Even economies like South Korea and Germany, which have trade surpluses and strong manufacturing sectors, experience the same things because there's structural forces behind it. Additionally, like the U.S. has just gotten more productive. The country that actually lost the most manufacturing jobs in the last 100 years has been China, because China got a lot more productive. Like, they're still the manufacturing powerhouse of the world. The U.S. in the same way just got more productive. We started making more things with less people. That's why manufacturing output was increasing all the way up until 2008. When sort of larger structural reasons after the Great Recession kind of stopped that. And that was all while manufacturing employment was decreasing. That's evidence of us getting more productive. If you look at real value added in manufacturing, that's still increasing. And then also, we just have to, there's no intrinsic reason to care about manufacturing. Like, there's an opportunity cost to having the manufacturing here. Trade lets us specialize in what we're good at. Lets us specialize in what we have higher productivity in. And there are benefits to that. There are benefits to the U.S. specializing in one thing and trading for the other thing. Again, trade is just a type of technology that lets us indirectly produce the things that we import by first producing things to export, like services, and then importing stuff from other countries.
Countries instead of performing these actions within our own country, so much so that companies have gotten used to the affordability of it and the ease of access of it, of saying, oh, hey, we don't have to spend all this money to do it in America, we can do it somewhere.
Wholly based. What do you say? Fun fact, Americans pay less health costs out of pocket than people in almost any other country. Out-of-pocket spending seems to be low because the U.S. spends so much in healthcare. The U.S. is paying $4.5 trillion in healthcare. And someone pays $10,000 out of pocket. It seems like a lot of money in paper. You need to look at absolute terms, not as a percentage. I think it makes sense to look at it as a percentage. I don't know.
Else, because we had so many states and our country as a whole where it was difficult to do business. It was expensive to do business. Now, with Trump potentially levying these tariffs, and the great thing I say is potentially is that so many of these tariffs are more so bargaining chips, and they haven't really been.
Free trade is really bad. We're exporting all our manufacturing to these other countries. By the way, these tariffs are actually just bargaining chips to get to free trade. Dog, how do you say this in the same sentence?
Placed in most places yet against Canada or Mexico that have actually resulted in these tariffs being charged. For instance, we saw it with Canada. Canada actually, in various places, and not in every place, but with certain tariffs, particularly with energy between Ontario and America, they actually reduced their tariffs. And certainly there's going to be some back and forth going on. And the new Canadian Prime Minister might say, oh, hey, well, we want a 90% tariff on this. Trump saying, okay, well, we're going to match that tariff rise. This is kind of a back and forth trade war or trade negotiation that we've seen from Trump in his first term, and I imagine we'll see it throughout the rest of this term as he works to, as Luke very aptly said, detox what has been the last 4 years of pain for our economy. And you might see a little bit.
First of all, even even if I granted that the last 4 years in the economy were painful or whatever, which to an extent we had high inflation, right? Like that, like the biggest concern over the last 4 years was high inflation. Tariffs are not going to help with that, dog. They're going to, even if you don't consider them strictly inflationary, they're going to lead to at least a one-time price increase for a lot of goods. I like, but I don't understand how tariffs are going to detox the bad economy, even if I granted that it was bad.
Bit of stock market shifting, but you kind of always see that. I mean,
Stock market shifting, we kind of always see. I need to go to the Wikipedia. People keep saying this, and it's just like unbelievable to cope. Like people keep bringing up first of all, because guess what, motherfuckers? Not all stock market crashes actually have to do with the president's policy. Like the Kamala crash, my understanding, my memory, maybe I should do more reading into it just because this keeps getting brought up, was because the Bank of Japan was raising interest rates. A lot of stock market crashes have to do with factors outside of the president's control. This is something that President Trump could stop at any moment. This is something that other Republicans could stop at any moment just by voting in Congress to stop it. It's not even just a failing of Trump, but it's a failure of the Republican Party to when their leader is doing a batshit insane thing to rein him in.
It's going down a lot.
But we're talking about the stock market, but we aren't talking about things that actually affect most people, like the consumer price index, inflation, and more indexes of like egg prices, gas prices. These things are going back down, and the inflation is going down.
Not.
But we're talking about the stock market, but we aren't talking about things that actually affect most people, like the consumer price index, inflation, and more indexes of like egg prices, gas prices. These things are going back down, and the inflation. So egg prices, gas prices. A big reason why egg prices went down was because we started importing eggs. Eggflation, I know. A big reason why oil is going down is this. Look, see, like this is Two countries stepped into the bird flu breach in February. Turkey and Mexico. They exported more than 4 times as many eggs that month as they did the prior year. We got a fuck ton of imported eggs, and that's part of the reason why egg prices went down. And a big reason why oil prices are going down is because people are anticipating a recession, and that tends to reduce the demand for oil. Oil prices went down in the beginning of COVID too. That's not a good indicator. That's not a good indicator, dog. It's also kind of. I need to do more reading about this because I saw a chart in it one time. It's also like oil producers need a certain price to oil for it to be profitable for them to drill, baby, drill, right? Like they need, in order to expand drilling in the U.S., they kind of want oil prices to be high in order so they can actually make returns on scoping out where the next oil fields are and stuff like that. And like the price of oil when Trump got into office was not at that rate. The price of oil now, because it's falling, it's definitely not at that rate. So if you want to drill, baby, drill, you're not going to, you're either going to have to subsidize oil companies to do that, at which point, why don't you just fucking subsidize green energy? Or you're going to have the price of oil be high enough so it's actually worth it for them to explore new fields and shit. Is going down.
No, they're not.
They are.
Egg prices
right
have skyrocketed since Trump took office.
So that's time you bought eggs.
You're right.
The thing.
Can I say really quickly? You're right that the stock market is just one indicator, but the idea that Trump is doing this purely to reshore manufacturing is not even backed up by Trump. Trump has played these weird tariff games where he says, I want less fentanyl at the border, and then after there's less fentanyl.
But also, again, it's not even like a good thing to reshore. I don't know why we're just like embedding the premise that like it's automatically good to reshore all this stuff, but. Fred still shows them as going up. This is nominal, so maybe if you deflate them, maybe the real price is a little bit lower, but...
He completely switches his stance. So he has no coherent
because
goal with
he
them.
achieved what he was trying to get.
At the same time, so if he achieved what he's trying to get, why did he replace the tariffs on Canada? That's entirely
so he's talking about something completely different there, and that's the exact point you're making. For instance, the original tariffs we were going to place on Mexico and Canada was about fentanyl and was about illegal immigration.
They clearly weren't because Trump
yes, exactly.
Tariffs.
Actually, they were because right after he placed those, or was planning to place them, the Mexican president announced, "Oh, we're going to be placing soldiers at the border."
This is an entirely terrible talking point for a few reasons. Number one, all of the concessions that Trump got from Sheinbaum and Trudeau had already been conceded months prior. That $1.3 billion bill that Trudeau introduced.
Also, they haven't mentioned revenue, but like. We were talking about this earlier. Remember, the goal of these tariffs are all contradictory. If you use them for negotiations, you're not going to collect revenue, and you're not going to bring manufacturing back because you don't actually implement the fucking tariffs. If you collect revenue, you're not going to bring manufacturing back because the revenue requires that people actually keep buying imported goods to pay the tariff, right? Like, if you bring manufacturing back, that implies that people are not buying imported goods. So you're not going to raise any revenue. And it means you also can't use them as negotiation because, again, if you remove them, you don't accomplish your goal of bringing manufacturing back. But I think he is right here. Like first of all, Canada had I don't know why we're talking about Canada, who had 42 pounds of fentanyl, and then most of that shit was already conceded to before Trump. Like, it was already agreed with.
Had been introduced in December of 2024. You can look this up on the Canadian website. The same thing with Scheinbaum. Actually, Biden got 15,000 troops to the border in his first year. And I just want to say that if Trump is trying to reshore manufacturing, the strategy that you take is leaving a grace period. Doesn't it take 6 months to a year for American companies to build these manufacturing plants, to hire workers? If he's actually trying to reshore manufacturing, as you claim, leave a grace period. And also, you said that Trump isn't being unpredictable. It's more about consistency. Would you call Trump's tariffs thus far consistent?
I didn't say I didn't say anything related to him. I just said most businesses would thrive with consistency.
So let me rephrase. Do you think that Trump has created an environment that's consistent for businesses to thrive?
For short term, no, because he's looking at a long-term goal.
Well,
and
what
you
is
guys,
the
I mean, I want
Yes, please. Yes, thank you. I love you. Yes.
to touch because I'm focused more on
What is the
recession,
long-term goal?
relating that back towards the
Can I
United
ask one question really quickly?
When I'm done, yeah. So bringing it back towards the United States economy, you guys were talking about egg prices skyrocketing. Egg prices have gone down to, I think, $6.85 a dozen, which is $1.20 less than what they were a few months
Where?
ago.
Down from what though?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's
actually,
the national average right now.
Now,
Same
what
thing
was the
with-
national average at when Trump took office as?
Again, I don't know, this still shows them going up ever since November, but I don't know. There's probably a better. Is there like an egg price index? This is the real inflation index, Cat Tricks. You're right. We should just replace CPI with egg prices. This shows it going down. Does Trueflation have the have like certain sectors?
And over the past
But see,
month?
I'm not looking at it. We can blame him
So
for
the
this. I'm
national
looking
average
at where
when
we're at
Trump
right
took
now.
office was about $6.50. Now they're actually down to $5.50 in just about a few weeks. And the reason we saw the egg prices go up, and I don't know how far we want to get into this, was because we had the H5N1 virus that started in 2022, and the Biden administration did next to nothing about that. On top of all the various other squeezing and regulations that were hitting farmers, these chickens had no choice.
I don't think that's true. I think God, I don't remember. I hope Adam Mockler knows. I don't remember how. There's varying degrees of truth. I think. Fuck, I'm trying to remember. Fuck, dude, because there was a whole bullshit thing on Twitter. I believe it is true. Biden did, but I don't remember. It might have been like the killing order was voluntary or something. Biden killing order chickens
to catch the virus and then get killed. 58 million chickens have died, thus causing a sort of supply and demand issue where, hey, everybody wants eggs. Oh my God, there's no chickens left to make the eggs. We have these chickens finally starting to get hatched and finally starting to be of age where they can produce eggs again. That's what's going to cause those prices to go
So
down.
if we know that there is a flu that is affecting the
There
amount
was.
that, okay. So if we know that there was a flu.
Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed a mass killing of more than 100 million chickens. That's not exactly correct. Those killings are required by the Department of Agriculture to contain the spread of the highly contagious avian flu. Degling birds either die naturally or are culled to avoid the spread of the deadly virus. It is up to the farmers to report an outbreak. November, December alone, the virus killed about 17 million egg-laying hens. The easiest solution, mandated veganism, baby. Mandated. When will we get the ultimate vegan president?
Flu that is affecting the amount of eggs that chickens can produce. Why would you place tariffs on a huge manufacturer of our resources in terms of food?
To reshore manufacturing, bro.
Like, that doesn't make sense. If there's already an issue in which we have less eggs, why would you put more taxes on eggs?
Because our priority is America, and our priority is
But if your priority is America and there's an issue with supply, why would you make it
Also-
harder to get that supply.
Does it not bother you guys that Trump's main promise was to lower prices on day one, and both of you guys just gave the argument that, hey, maybe in 6 to 12 months after some economic pain that Trump and Elon Musk are completely insulated from, by the way, wasn't Trump's promise to lower prices?
They're just going to say inflation is down. They're just going to say inflation is down. And by the way, if inflation was up, they were cultist. All they would say is, oh, it's going to take a while to feel the effects of tariffs anyway. We can't blame this on the tariffs. Which is exactly what Howard Lutnick was saying. But like before, it's so funny. Before the payrolls report came out, Howard was like, you know, you're not going to see the effects of tariffs until like the end of 2025 and the data are, but like as soon as the data is good, they try to take credit for it. They try to be like, oh, payrolls are up clearly because the tariffs are working. And also, fuck these people because they don't believe the data. They didn't believe the data under Biden. They said all the data was fake under Biden. The methodology hasn't changed. Not that they ever understood the BLS methodology for calculating job numbers anyway, but the methodology hasn't changed. Like the job numbers are still calculated the exact same way. But fuck these people. They are cultists. They just believe the numbers under Trump, but don't believe the numbers under Biden. Jesus.
Prices on day one.
Well, prices are low. I mean, the price of gas is
literally
at
are
the
lower.
lowest since 2021.
Again, the gas. That's not a good indicator. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. Not a good. It reflects the fact that people are anticipating a recession, or at least an increased probability of a recession. I think Poly Market still has a recession being more likely than not, but it fell because Trump walked back some of the tariffs. Dude, this was so fucking funny. Oh my god, it's all the way back up to what? How? Oh Jesus. It's all the way back up to 64%. Probably because I'm guessing the bond market. I'm guessing people are watching the 30-year yield and 10-year yield go up. Although I think the 10-year yield is down from where it was at like midnight 2 nights ago or something. I think it's still... Or look at 5-day. I think it's gone down a little. Yeah. Oh, wait. Maybe not? What? No, it was at 4.5 at one point, wasn't it? I thought it was at 4.5. Yeah, hold on. Back here. Yeah, it's down from... up here. I was at 4.5 briefly. But this shit is so funny. Goldman Sachs. U.S. economic analysis. Moving towards a recession baseline. And then Trump walks back his tariffs. I think he says, I think they even say, we think the White House is unlikely to quickly reverse most of the new tariffs, but a probability of recession would decline if it does. Then Trump announces he's reversing tariffs 73 minutes later. Goldman Sachs. President Trump announces 90-day pause, reverting to our previous non-recession baseline. Don't worry, guys. There's only a 45% probability of recession and forecast GDP growth of 0.5%. By the way, again, fuck these people. It doesn't matter. Like, if GDP ends up being good, they'll say, like, oh, look, tariffs are already working. And if GDP ends up being bad, they'll be saying short-term pain for long-term gain. There's nothing ever that you could ever show them that, like, falsify their worldview. Like, it's...
CEO just came out and said that prices are going to have to go up. Even Tesla just wrote a letter to the Trump.
The dumb money probably just said that was a dead cat balance. I don't follow finance, man. I had to those words don't, dude. The finance talk is so, you know, the dumbest, stupidest, shittiest bullshit in terms for everything, dude.
Trump administration saying, dude, our cars are going to be hurt if you actually tariff Canada for no reason.
Trump just republished an op-ed called "Shut Up About Egg Prices." Like,
Literally,
what are we talking about?
Yeah, but we're seeing prices are going down. The price of gas is the lowest since 2021, and we're also seeing the CPI this past month was 0.2%, which was substantially lower than what it was estimated.
Again, fuck these people. These were the people claiming that CPI was fake under Biden. They said Biden's manipulating the CPI to make it lower than it is. If we used the old CPI methodology, it's actually 1,018,000%. 2, if it was higher than expected, they would just say short-term pain for long-term gain. 3, cite me a single study, please, that shows tariffs don't have a like a pass-through rate of like over 80% or something. Which, I mean, there are studies out there which you can find that are like not that these people haven't read those fucking studies. Maybe I've seen them cited on Twitter and just copied the talking point. There are studies out there where you can find where it's like, you know, retail prices only have like a 25% pass-through rate, even if the pass-through rate for corporations is for the people actually importing the product in the first place is like 90%. Maybe they choose to take half of that as loss to their profits and half of that they pass on to consumers. But it still raises prices. But like, Jesus, fuck these people. Like,
And we even see liberal networks like CNN speaking out how the economy is getting better. Again, if you have a progressive channel like that, then that means things must actually be getting better.
I'm going to take the position, and you guys aren't going to like this. Biden handed the economy to Trump on a silver platter. If you look at any of these...
shattered silver platter,
Can you name me one indicator that isn't on a consistent trend from the Biden presidency? Is there one? Did the unemployment growth on January 21st or did the unemployment randomly drop on January 21st? Is there an indicator that's not off of the back of what Biden was already building?
It's almost like the president doesn't even have that much control over the macro economy, dude. Like, it's like, you just have to not. First of all, presidents don't have that much control over the macro economy in the first place. Like, Trump just has to not do insane shit, and things will go mostly fine. Like, even the tax cuts or whatever, like, that's typically going to lead to like a stock market bump. That'll probably have negative effects just because the deficit will increase, but it probably have negative effects in aggregate. But there's still benefits to doing that. There's just like no fucking benefits to these tariffs. Like, you're just being insane for no reason.
With his plans.
Yeah, so I can give you something that Biden destroyed. We had oil production, and oil production is something that's very important within our country.
True.
Obviously, it's our energy independence. It's something that goes into the gas prices. On day one, Joe Biden placed numerous regulations and executive orders to halt so much oil production in our country that while we were still growing our oil production, we had a 4% average growth rate during his presidency. Meanwhile, during the Trump presidency, we saw between 11 to 13% average growth rate during those years. That is a very major indicator of, oh my gosh, there's a problem. And that's why we saw, on top of numerous other factors, the gas prices get so bad. And, you know, we talk about the stock market and we talk about these tariffs. These things aren't actually here yet. They aren't actually hurting Americans yet. And the point that...
Because he keeps pausing them. Why does he keep pausing them?
So, number one, uncertainty is bad. Guess what? Like, Adam mentioned, and I think the other dude mentioned it as well, even. Uncertainty reduces business investment. The uncertainty alone reduces business investment. I think I have a study on this somewhere. Using stock returns to assess the aggregate. Oh, no, this is about stock market returns. I don't know. One of these all have studies cited in them, and I can go look at them to find that we have empirical evidence that uncertainty does actually reduce business investment alone. It might actually be better. It might actually be better at this fucking point. Actually, I'll say it would probably be better. Yeah, research consistently documents how policy harms or uncertainty harms investment. Crazy. What was I saying? Fuck.
Because about these tariffs, these things aren't actually here yet. They aren't actually hurting Americans yet. And the point that...
Because he keeps pausing them. Why does he keep pausing them?
Because
if it's such a good idea, why would he
What's the concession he's trying to get?
Negotiator, man. Again, this guy started by saying free trade is bad. He said we've been exporting our manufacturing. But now he's just like, free trade is actually good and we need to negotiate for freer trade. Like, dog, kill me. Study on the efficacy of parachutes for skydiver safety.
Get from Canada right now. Okay, so we talked about this. At first, it was fentanyl, but then you said he switched the concession that he's trying to get from Canada and Mexico. What is it now? What's the concession he's trying to get?
The concession he's trying to get, and it's numerous things. So, for instance, one of the tariffs that we're talking about right now is steel. Steel is Canada is one of the largest exporters of steel to our country, and something that we're really trying to work on is, as Luke mentioned, get our manufacturing back together. And you're making this whole joke about, oh my gosh, shore up manufacturing.
It takes time, man.
Yeah, I do want to know, what is the plan to increase American manufacturing?
In 1 month, every company is going to...
By the way, tariffs aren't even if you want to do that, which again, I don't think you should unless it's like a national security thing. Because opportunity cost, guys, trade is actually good. Tariffs aren't even the optimal way to do that. We saw this with steel. Steel, despite Biden keeping a lot of the steel tariffs in place, like if you look at actual steel output in the U.S., it actually did not really benefit from the tariffs because tariffs they benefited short run, but in the longer run, people found substitutes for steel, like. Because tariffs raise prices, they incentivize people to try to substitute away from the input that increases in prices. subsidies don't have that same effect typically, because subsidies can actually, lower prices. You're subsidizing them. And tariffs have really negative effects on competition. Tariffs invite retaliation. When we did tariffs on Chinese steel, they tariffed our farmers. We probably would not have seen that same effect if we just subsidized American steel. And like I said, we have a ton of fucking studies, a ton of empirical evidence, and good theory too, that tariffs reduce labor productivity in the industry they protect. They protect inefficient industries and give them no incentive to innovate. And that harms not only that industry, but everyone else as well.
Going to build a manufacturing plant in every city, and they're going to hire all of these.
Well, we're not making the argument that it's going to be instant. We're patient.
But what is the plan?
Okay, the plan.
The concepts of a plan.
There are real concepts of a plan, and they're going to come through.
So what are
they? Okay, well, if you let me say it, we have numerous companies. For instance, we have Intel and numerous other companies.
God, think every time with these people. Okay. No, what I need to understand. I need to understand my brain is broken. It's not their brain is broken. My brain is broken. My brain is broken. My brain is broken. Because these anecdotes never do anything for me, and I know for other people these anecdotes mean a lot. To me it's infinitely more meaningful to look at the GDP Now forecast and look at the releases of data, right? They have the not the spreadsheet. They have this. To look at these actual numbers about aggregate. Scary word, aggregate business investment, because, well, Apple might be investing. A lot of other companies are going to be uncertain and just sit on their hands and not invest, right? In fact, Apple investing that, no one denies that tariffs are going to shift investment from unprotected sectors towards protected sectors. But again, you just have to remember, the investment in protected sectors comes at the cost of reducing investment in other sectors. Or technically, it could reduce consumption too, or reduce savings. There's other things that could be hurt, but you're not just going to increase output magically by tariffing shit. We're pretty close to full employment. There aren't just a ton of idle resources lying around waiting to be used. So when a government artificially protects sectors and makes some artificially more profitable, yes, that's going to increase investment in those sectors, but it's going to decrease investment in the other sectors that you made relatively less profitable. But you can see it here, advanced manufacturing, negative 1.8. I think this is the growth rate from last quarter, right? I think. I don't know. This is so much more meaningful to me. But even anecdotally, I think you can look at, there was some company in California that announced that they were laying off people because of the tariffs.
That are announcing they're going to be opening manufacturing plants. TSMC opening manufacturing plants in America.
I gotta remember. I gotta, like I said, compile them, because anecdotes apparently mean more to people than evidence.
To create chips, a whole lot better than the so-called Chips and Science Act, by the way. These are tangible things that are going to be happening.
Wait, sorry?
For instance, we have Intel and numerous other companies that are announcing they're going to be opening manufacturing plants. TSMC opening manufacturing plants in America to create chips, a whole lot better than the so-called Chips and Science Act, by the way.
I don't know how he can make that claim. It's not like the Chips and Science Act didn't lead to a lot of people investing in the U.S. to make chips. What do you mean, dog? Again, probably more efficiently than tariffs do, because subsidies a lot of times don't have the same negative effects on labor productivity. Subsidies don't reduce the size of the market by inviting trade wars. Subsidies, usually just aren't as bad. They don't cause as much deadweight loss, seemingly.
These are tangible things that are going to be happening. I believe it's either Toyota or Honda that announced that they're opening yet another manufacturing plant here in the United States to bring in materials from other places, but assemble them here in America. And the real point is we're trying to get even higher up on
those materials from other places are going to be tariffed under your 10% tariff on every one plan. What are you talking about? Not plan, actually did. Although, to be fair, as of now, USMCA compliant goods are exempted from that. But who knows? We'll see. What's up?
Subsidies are still bad.
I think that makes sense for national security shit, but I think
You're a puppet. They could just say national security and you dance your dance. You're like a puppet.
I think it makes sense. I'm gonna okay, true. I don't know. I'm gonna have a probably more limited scope than what a lot of protectoids mean by national security, but I just care about America. Sample wants America to fail. He wants us to outsource all our strategic industries to China.
On that river of production. So, for instance, the Canadian steel goes into so many things that we use on a day-to-day basis that so many Americans say, well, hey.
That's why That's why steel tariffs tend to reduce employment, because a lot of other people fucking use steel.
And companies, it would be better for America as a whole, manufacturing jobs that Americans can have that increase our economy, increase our GDP, things of that nature, if we had that manufacturing here in America instead of, hey, let's do it in Canada.
I'm gonna shoot myself.
I think what you said right there about chips and manufacturing, that's not what Trump's saying. If we check his Truth Social right now and we check what he said about Canada over the past week, I can guarantee he's made 19 jokes about Canada being the 51st state and Trudeau being a governor. He has, and you're proud of that.
I wouldn't say I'm proud of it, but I don't have to take it so seriously.
What's his end goal? You don't think you should take that seriously?
You don't think you should take
the U.S. president showing the same imperial ambitions that Vladimir Putin is showing?
I'm saying I don't take him saying, oh, the 51st governor of Canada seriously. Just like I didn't take people saying Joe Biden is, I'm not even going to go there. So many things people said about Joe Biden that I said, okay, listen, I'm not going to take that seriously.
But that's not what Joe Biden is saying. I'm saying he's saying the president of the United States of America is absolutely saying that. Why should we not take what the president says at face value? Also, it's fair to support a president without supporting every single thing they do. You do not have to blindly just accept that this is okay and continue to wait and wait and wait for it to work out. This is a bad idea. It's not working.
I mean, if things actually were bad, and I can man up and I can admit that, but again, we're 2 months in. I'm not going to be that guy that stands by Trump with everything, because I disagree with things that Trump has done. But at the end of the day, I can't make such a big decision off of 2 months into a
He set a
presidency.
goal for the American economy, and instead of meeting it, he has done the opposite.
Yes, but just how you've said that we can't look at, oh, well, in 6 months it'll be better. Well, you guys are doing the same thing, saying, well, it's getting bad. In a couple months it's going to be bad. We don't know whether it's going to be good or bad. You guys can assume based off of what you believe, and we assume based off of what we believe. And so until it actually...
The difference is, one of these people, the liberals here, have really solid economic theory behind why tariffs are bad. Every economist for the past 200 years has written about fucking trade, dude. Economics fucking started with Adam Smith fucking complaining about trade, man. Jesus. David Ricardo, all the way 200, 300 years ago, man. And we've over time developed more and more theories. And guess what? All the empirical evidence supports it. Every fucking study that we could look at, dog. It's tariffs just generally have negative effects on employment, even in the manufacturing sector, which is people are obsessed over for some reason. Fine, that hey, guess what? You actually reduce manufacturing employment because you tariff all the fucking inputs that people use. That's why steel tariffs reduce manufacturing employment, and tariffs harm exports via exchange rate appreciation and retaliatory tariffs, which U.S. manufacturers rely on exports as well.
actually happens, we just won't know.
Who is Mahmoud Khalil, the anti-Israel Columbia University activist ICE arrested? Should Mahmoud Khalil...
We might continue watching this. I don't know. YouTube hasn't gotten mad at me, so so long as YouTube doesn't get mad at me. Yeah, this is IMF. What's this one? We estimate economic effects, import tariffs, and trade policy to the United States. Combining theory consistent with narrative, sign restrictions, and whatever that, we find mostly adverse consequences of protectionism in aggregate and across sectors and regions. Tariff shocks are more important than trade policy uncertainty shocks. Tariff shocks depress trade, investment, and output persistently. The general equilibrium import elasticity is negative 0.8. Historically, NAFTA/WTO raised output by 1 to 3% for 20 years. Undoing the 2018-2019 measures would raise output by 4% over 3 years. Defining supply, higher gains of trade than partial equilibrium or static trade models. One year later, we're saying that it's early and Trump needs more time to fix our economy. Dude, they'll say whatever. It doesn't matter what happens. They'll define anything as a win. They literally the economy could be in a recession, and they would say, bro, the 10-year yield is down. Doesn't matter. They would say the gas price is down, guys. Subway bought their fucking $5 footlong back, guys. It's a win. It's a win. It's it doesn't matter what happened. Yeah, unemployment is at 25%, but at least we're not dependent on China.
will be considered a terrorist? 3, 2, 1. Whoa, we all agree.
It's beautiful.
I will go. So I don't think he should be deemed a terrorist. That is because a terrorist is somebody who has enacted a state of violence with an intention of coercion or intimidation onto another government. Where we might have a little bit of disagreement is he is right now he was arrested, he's being investigated, and he's up for potential deportation. I believe he was from Syria.
Yes.
I do agree with that. The reason is the president has the ability to deport an immigrant, that is, whether it's on a green card or a visa, whatever it might be, if they pose as a threat to the country. The reason why I believe he poses as a threat is because he's come.
I don't think that's not even what I don't know the whole immigration stuff as much as I know the economic stuff. But that wasn't even the allegation that they made wasn't that he was a threat to the country, right? The allegation was that he, supported Hamas or whatever, right? That was the.
Come out with not just pro.
They were saying the bond yield going up is good, including for lowering mortgage rates, which no, how do you even? Yeah, they'll define whatever as a way. That's not, it doesn't make any sense at all. Why are my people so fucking unhappy? My town is literally great. They're all fucking depressed, but I won't even click on.
Palestine, that's another thing, but he's come out with pro-Hamas rhetoric, and Hamas in itself is a terrorist organization. He's outwardly supported that. He has put together groups to
I don't even think that was I don't remember all the allegations, but initially at least they did. I don't even think they said that he passed out pamphlets or anything in support of Hamas. Not that, which by the way, passing out pamphlets in support of Hamas is probably still protected speech, but
really support that. And in the state of where we're at, in the state of the world, in the state of the country, I think that is the wise decision because, you can play the devil's advocate of, well, he hasn't done something, but if he's outwardly shown evidence and outwardly expressed potential future of doing something, I think that is the wise decision.
That's our standard for fucking revoking visas? Maybe might do something in the future? Jeez.
I have 2 questions. If we're going to deport people who are threats to our country and spread anti-Semitic propaganda, can we start with Elon Musk?
I was about to say that. Literally just
He's Kyle twice, but also
we can't talk about this because there's so many liberal politicians that have done the same.
Not the
Kyle?
same thing. No.
No.
Kamala
He
waiting
didn't
to
see Kyle. Okay,
he
listen,
did.
and it's so funny. I'm going to use something against y'all. If y'all are going to say he's Kyling, then you're both ableists. Elon Musk has Asperger's syndrome. He
True. It's the autism movement, bro. The autism movement. They initially didn't even grant him a trial. They didn't even have accusations at first. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When will Pisco become a non-fun orbiter so he can just join VC and tell me these things? I guess I have Rinrold. Rinrold, are you here?
doesn't really, he's not always cognizant of how things are looking or what that looks like from the external perspective.
Can I ask another real question, though? Does it ever worry you guys that Trump labeled Mahmoud a threat to national security, correct?
Yeah.
And they're using that justification. What if the next administration has a completely different definition of what a threat to national security is, and they think that, I don't know, like a January 6er is a threat to national security?
Well, here's the thing.
Supporting an outward terrorist organization kind of is worthy of being deemed that.
But I'm saying I think that is a threat to national security. But if the president is the one deciding who is a threat to national security unilaterally, it's kind of scary, right?
Well, I don't think
the president's the one deciding.
But he is the one deciding. I mean, he's actively been
Donald Trump was the one who.
Well, he has the ability to, I guess, push for the investigation, but he's not the one that's actually making the decision.
So who was
There was not a single change in policy.
So can I ask who decided that Mahmoud Khalil should be detained? Like who's decided?
And what was he charged? Wasn't he not charged with anything yet?
Like Mahmoud Khalil has
It's
not
still
actively.
being investigated.
Isn't that
He's never
weird that-
committed a crime.
Here's the thing, and this is going to kind of breach into different territory, Patriot Act type stuff. He doesn't have to commit a crime to be deported, particularly if his, allegation is for supporting a terrorist organization, which is at this point irrefutable, even if he's not exactly a terrorist.
I don't think that's. I think that's true. You don't have to actually commit a crime to be deported, but you still have to like. I still believe it can't like literally just be arbitrary. Confirmation bias time.
Even if he's not blowing things up or anything like that, if he's a member of an organization at Columbia University, which itself on October 8th said, we are in full support of what is happening with Hamas, we support violent resistance or something like that.
So to Adam's point, if a government, the executive branch, if a presidential power has the authority to decide what group is a terrorist, and then has the authority to decide how much a person's affiliation with any group deems them a terrorist, if there's an organization that, like if there's a president after Trump who deems...
Hold on, how do you spell this guy's name? Four does not exist. Fuck. Was it on immigration? Government? Ethics? Oh, old outdated Mahood Khalil. Once you're good at green card status, you're a permanent legal resident. It's legal in this case to provide material support to terrorism, i.e. direct support money, weapons, coordination, training, organization. No evidence of collusion between Hamas and Khalil, obviously. Who don't even accuse of him. Yeah, this is old and outdated.
That a group that you are in support of is a terrorist organization. Like, how are we deciding who is a terrorist organization, who is in favor of these terrorist organizations, and what level threat they are? Because to me, it seems like a violation of his First Amendment right to speak on behalf of
You're making a weird face, but didn't he just, didn't he say stuff? You just admitted himself.
Your First Amendment right gets revoked the second that you incite violence onto another individual.
Did he incite violence?
That's
Wait, did we have
the
any proof of when
he supported the violence that has been done by Hamas?
I think it is dangerous to begin labeling.
I don't even know, again, I don't even know exactly what is alleged of him. But, like, my understanding is it is First Amendment protected speech to even say, like, you support Hamas. Like, I believe that's a protected thing to say.
And deporting people on the grounds that they're a terrorist without due process. Because if any president can do that, then maybe the next president does that to people that you actively agree with. And maybe the next president isn't, I mean, I don't...
Well, did he label him a terrorist? I thought
that's why he's being
I think the Trump admin is labeling him. Yes. Also, I'm pretty sure he hasn't been charged. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's no charge. Isn't that odd?
No, he's never been charged with a crime.
Well, he's not an actual citizen, for one. And for
two, he does have a green card, though.
He does have a green card, which they have the power to revoke.
The legal permanent resident, I believe, is what he is, right? So
this is more of a question of how much do we want to allow the government to have power? Because I think what we might actually surprisingly all agree upon is that the government probably needs to have a little bit less power in this regard in regards to citizens. Like, I am not really in support of the government being able to say, oh, well, you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist, if you are a naturalized citizen. Mahmoud Khalil was born in Syria. He came to America on a student visa and then acquired a green card, which is, hey, a great thing. But and I'm not saying he's a terrorist, but unfortunately the government has so much power that in the eyes of the government, supporting a group that itself issued a statement in support of a terrorist group, by extension, makes you not necessarily a terrorist, but able to be deported.
Some Federalist Society weirdos think that Holder v. Humanitarian Law and some other case law applies to Khalil's case, material support, but I think it's nonsense. I mean, I don't know enough about this either way, but
I don't think the green card holder should have less constitutional rights than natural-born citizens.
Well, that's a fundamental disagreement.
Yeah,
the First Amendment should apply to anybody.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think that everyone who is here legally should be protected by the First Amendment, and that includes him.
Can you guys see where I'm coming from when I say this does worry me from the perspective of free speech in the First Amendment? Conservatives should know, or should love free speech more than anybody, apparently. It creates this chilling effect, almost, where people are scared to voice their opinion, and you probably shouldn't be voicing pro-Hamas opinions, but now what if there's like a pro-Palestinian protester who's a little bit worried? It creates this chilling effect, and it's almost like a slippery slope. Not to use the slippery slope fallacy, but it does sometimes scare me when the government is, without even charging people, detaining them, because he didn't charge them.
No, and I know.
Detaining.
And this case is setting a precedent on what that means going forward. Like right now it's Mahmoud Khalil, but who will it be next time?
That's how that already happened to January 6 prisoners. They did get charged, but so many of them were sitting without trial that we had to issue a blank.
That's it. No, but they were charged, right? There's an accusation against them. If they can't afford to pay bond, or if they're deemed like a threat to public safety, then yeah, they're Oh, is this trash? Is this why my people are all fucking happy? Then yeah, they might sit in jail for a while they await trial, and I think that's a problem, not just for January 6ers, but for everyone who has to wait for trial in prisons, or in jails, I think technically.
Pardon, because some of them hadn't
That is
seen the
not
light
why
of
there was a blanket pardon. They were not sitting there without a trial. They had due process just like everybody else. Can you guys name one J6er who didn't get due process?
Not off the top of my head.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but like, come on, if you're saying that these people aren't getting due process, there should be somebody who you have like a prime example, like a strong
example.
There
were individuals from J6 that were just released like a month ago because they've been in prison this entire time.
Is your source Truth Social?
Okay, well, I can mention somebody.
That makes sense because, hold on.
One of my sources from J6 that were just released like a month ago because they've been in prison this entire time.
Is your source Truth?
Like, does he mean people who weren't charged who were in prison the entire time? That's possible because our court system like does get backed up, and people do like unfortunately literally spend years awaiting trial sometime, and sometimes they get fucking they spend like 6 months in jail waiting for sentencing or like a trial that ends up giving them like 30 days in jail, right? So like it's fucked up, and there are ways we can address it. I don't think Trump has any understanding of this problem or how to address it, but Trump pardoning the J6ers because he likes what they did. I don't like dog. Like, what do you mean? This was not the justification. Why would you pardon everyone if he Why not pardon just the people who were denied due process or whatever? Like,
Truth Social.
Okay, well, I can't mention somebody.
One of my sources is someone that was actually there. Kind of how you guys are going along the lines of like people being afraid to speak out. I mean, that's how Republicans have felt for the last 4 years because we would speak out. Biden was on stage that was essentially comparing us to Nazis.
No, he was
true. He had the red light behind him, bro. Bro, didn't you see, bro? Bro, literally, Drew. That guy does definitely watch the speech. True. Joe Biden. This was Joe Biden in Philadelphia Hall, saying MAGA Republicans were evil. Dude, it is insane the lengths Biden went to in that speech to like say MAGA Republicans who are a minority Republicans. There are a lot of good Republicans out there, and yet still people just fucking like got so mad about this. Jesus.
Yes, he was. He supported, but he was comparing us. Well, I'm saying there's video evidence of it. He was comparing MAGA believers to Nazis, and I think that made us afraid. But I think that's why we have those definitions in line is to be able to have those checks.
Like now if the next president is a Democrat and they label organizations that are speaking out in favor of the far right as terrorist, and any green card holder who speaks out in support of your causes is now a terrorist and can be detained and deported without due process, that would hurt your cause. So right now it's pro-Palestinian protests and it's pro-Hamas, but next time it can be anyone, and that's the fear.
And we all have the same color, so I know that we're at each other's necks a bit, but we all agree that definitionally he's not a terrorist. We all agree that the government should probably be a little bit more careful with who they choose to target and deport. I mean, hey, if there are conservatives being unfairly targeted by the government, I'm not okay with that. We've sat here and talked for a while now. You know that I'm genuinely not okay with the government censoring conservatives or all of these, whatever you guys think the Biden administration was doing. And yes, I mean, we can all agree that the government should probably be more careful when they're targeting people who are just protesting.
Luigi Mangione's journal, not manifesto, about healthcare industry grievances. Attorney argues. Was Luigi Mangione justified? 3, 2, 1.
There's no way any of them are gonna. That girl better not defend it. Oh man. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Whoever last followed on Twitch, we got to 300 followers. That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
Okay, so before you all attack the hell out of me,
yeah. God damn it.
I want to say Luigi Mangione hasn't been tried yet. The trial is not completed, and he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So I think
I don't know. I think he's guilty. Seems like they got pretty good evidence on him.
I think that going into this debate, like, it shouldn't be about whether or not he killed the CEO of United Healthcare, because we cannot claim that yet. And I've had a lot of discussions.
It's so dumb. Obviously, we as the public don't need a trial to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt to say that it happened. That's fucking dumb.
Discussions about Luigi Mangione under the presumption that he's done it and that he is the person who did it. And I'm not going to.
But he definitely did do it. Well, here's the thing. There's two separate things we can argue about. The legality of the trial, which we should probably stay away from, or the morality of what.
I don't want to argue about the morality of killing the CEO of healthcare, because I think it is immoral to kill anyone, regardless of your grievances. What I think he is justified in is his grievances with the United States healthcare system.
Can we all
innocent.
All agree with this fundamental fact? Like he's justified in his grievances, as you said, about the healthcare system, not justified in the killing.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, I see you sitting there. Healthcare's perfect.
Because therefore that was the reason that he killed him. And I don't think any reason to kill anybody is ever justified.
Well, that's what we're saying. We're saying that the killing is not justified. But if you separate the act from the reason for the act, I think that it is justified to have grievances with the U.S.
I think it's hard for me to separate that.
Well, here's the question. Do you think the healthcare industry in America is kind of fucked?
That's basically what mine is.
I mean, yeah, I think healthcare and insurance.
So he was justified to be worried, but then everything he did after that. I guess the argument that I'd make for why you can't just kill people in the streets, which we all seem to agree on this, is that it weakens the cohesion of a society, number one. But number two, I think one of the beautiful things about America is that there are many avenues for our voice to be heard. So even if you don't vote, you can go out there and protest. You can call your representative. You can post online. There are 100 different ways for your voice to be heard, and none of those should include just murdering someone in the middle of the street. That's probably not an avenue that we should take in America. If you're living in like an authoritarian country and that's the last resort, that's a different conversation. But we live in America, and this dude seems pretty smart, right? Like Luigi Mangione could have just gotten a degree in medicine and just like helped people. Actually helps people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with all this, the thing.
What's up?
Yeah. What do you think about my boy Luigi?
Seems pretty stupid. What do you like?
I agree. I don't know how it's okay to like justify it. I don't know why people equivocate. But insurance company's bad. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't know how people just.
You want people to die. You want people to be denied life-saving care. This is what I'm hearing right now.
Non-fun.
Yeah.
I like you, but like, I also know that if you were like to download Tinder, and like you'd find a girl who's like has socialist in her bio or something, and then you talk to her on a date, and she's like, "Yeah, I like Luigi." You would cave. You would hit. That's what I don't like about you. You're the type of
I
person
wouldn't walk out on the date because she likes
loves
Luigi.
murder. Yeah. If I hear a girl, if I date a girl and she's like, "I voted Bernie," I'm out because like I'm incredibly anti-Semitic.
Okay, vote. Okay. There's definitely a limit
Yeah,
to
you seem just okay. I don't need to hear. I don't need to hear anymore. That okay was
how
enough for me.
cringe and tanky a girl can be. But I don't know. Listen,
She
game
calls
is
them the
game.
resistance.
Simple found out the congresswoman who non-fun was simping for. Yeah, the cat girl is probably significantly more progressive than me. I haven't seen anything especially cringe from her yet, but
No, I've not seen her say anything cringe. But okay, what if you download Tinder? The girl calls them the resistance.
who is them? The
Hamas.
Oh no, that's probably too far. I don't think I could deal with
Good boy, good boy. What if? Oh, I should stop. But I don't know, man. What if she's like,
Oh fuck!
I'm a
YouTube.
socialist?
Oh no!
The debate?
YouTube got mad. YouTube got mad from the Jubilee thing, but thanks for
Oh, I
telling me,
thought
Cat
because of
Truck.
me.